Hey everyone, it's Natalie here, the Posh Pigeon, and today we're going to do something a little different and we're going to go over the top 10 things I've learned from reselling this year. I started my journey in May of this year. It's been very interesting to say the least. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed probably 95% of it. But I want to go ahead and recap some of the big things that I've learned and touch on those before we go into the new year. So if you guys haven't seen any of my videos, like I said, I started in May of 2022 and I've been trying to document that. I haven't hit the mark of hitting a video a week. I kind of fell off that, especially last month. That was really that was a little crazy for me. But moving forward, I am going to try to hit a video a week and give back to you guys a little bit more and give you more content. So if you guys are going to find this video helpful, I really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up. And my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. My goal was to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. However, unless everybody subscribes to my channel between even now and the end of the year that watches a video, I don't think I'm gonna hit that goal. But I would greatly appreciate it if you guys want to hear more from me, to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. All right, let's get into this. I'm excited for this. As I was kind of writing this down, it made me happy to share some of this information with you guys, because I don't feel like I've touched on it, and it is important, the things that I've learned. So I'm going to share that with you. All right, taking a sip of my coffee. All right, number one, and this is in no particular order. Do research on brands and styles that sell. So how do you do that? The simplest way would be to go to Poshmark and type in something like sweaters and then look at solds of those sweaters and see if you can identify common brands that are selling. And then you can even take it a step further, and let's say you want your price point between 25 to 50, you know, type in like that price range you want to see sold comps in, so you are seeing what is selling in those price range. So that's one way. I feel like I learn a lot just from YouTube and doing a lot of what sold videos. I fell off, like I said, of sharing everything that has sold for me, but I think YouTube is a great resource. I also think if you come across people that you feel like are doing well, or that you want to achieve that status in your reselling business, then go to their closet, and you can also sort by solds, and you can see what they're picking up and what they're selling. That may give you some insight. I also observe people, particularly, I think it's Gen Z, is that what we call it, Gen Z, the one after millennials. I look at what's trending, like what people are actually wearing. You know, subscribe to like Evereve or Revolve and just poke around on their website to see what trends are these days. That also helps. Or go to designer brands that you are familiar with, or if you're not familiar with, go to the Real and just look at all the brands that they have listed, and those are like top, like higher end designer brands, and you can also look at that. But I would say doing research is by far the number one thing that there's a lot of number ones, but I would say doing research is pretty important on what is selling and what isn't selling, because just because you like it, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody else is gonna like it. All right, this is going to kind of align in that direction. just because you list more, that doesn't mean you're going to sell more. And I had to test this theory out myself, and it's so true. In my beginning videos, I thought that that was the formula, but it's not necessarily true. So just because you're listing more, that doesn't mean you're selling more. You have to be picking up items that are selling. And that's the challenge with listing more, is it is harder to source good items that are going to continue to sell. So I know I see a lot of comments on reseller groups like, just keep listing, the sales will pick up. Well, if you're listing the wrong thing and you're picking up the wrong thing, that's not going to be true. Like, that's a myth. I mean, it's also true. It can be true if you're picking up a lot of items that you know are going to sell, then of course that's going to be true. You really have to be strategic in your approach on this whole list more, sell more theory, because yeah, not true if you're picking up the wrong items. All right. And I am finding that out a lot this month even, how untrue that really is. All right. Number 3. Couldn't survive without my sharing tool. That's the reality of it. If I had to manually share, there's no way I could do this. So kudos to anybody out there that hasn't got like a VA or a sharing bot, because yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. That to me is extremely tedious to have to, even with the bulk share option, it's still, I feel like there's a lot of wasted time, because it's not like you can just hit share and then just let it do its thing. Like, your phone has to be on, and however many listings, it takes time. So I wouldn't survive without it. I personally use One Shop. I've been with One Shop from the beginning. The things I like about it are, yes, it cross lists as well. It bulk downloads all my labels, and then all I have to do is drop that into my computer and print all my labels out. So especially on like long weekends where I may have like 20 some sales, like me not having to individually print those labels and just combine them all into one and just send them off and they all print out at once. Like, to me, I don't know if any other tool does that, but I absolutely love that feature. It obviously auto shares too, and well, we just talked about that. It auto shares and then shares back. Like, so if somebody shares my stuff, it automatically shares their stuff. It sends out automatic offers based on my settings. So if there's certain items that I don't want an offer to go out, or for me, I don't send offers out the first 2 days after I list that item. So I can set that, or I can say, hey, I don't want this item to have an offer automatically sent. I can do that. Or I can say, okay, I want like these 5 things to get a 10% offer, where everything else gets a 15% offer with discount ship. So to me, I absolutely love that feature. And again, it automatically sends out offers for me. It is like a mini assistant, and yeah, I wouldn't be able to survive without it. I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but being on your phone so much, like, honestly, like, my arms and my thumbs hurt sometimes. So if I had to do that on top of the listing and everything else I'm doing on my phone, yeah, that would probably be a tipping point for me over the edge. And it is an app on my phone. I don't have to be on my desktop, which is a big deal for me. So yeah, that's a little bit about the sharing tool I use, One Shop. And I'll put if you guys are interested in trying it out, I will put I guess my affiliate code down below so you guys can get a little bit off your first month if you choose to try it. But yeah, I haven't had to look elsewhere. I absolutely love the One Shop app. But any virtual assistant or any type of app that's going to help you with these things, like, honestly, I think it truly helps me make way more sales, and I wouldn't survive without it. Okay, number 4, good pictures matter. In the beginning, I probably had some pretty crappy pictures looking back, and even still, like, I feel like some of my pictures are crappy. The thing is I try to get natural light, and so I have to wait for sunny days to an extent. Sometimes ring lights can do it and make the photo look good, but natural light really is the best. And so I have to find a space in my house where that works. But yeah, good pictures definitely matters. And honestly, sometimes I pick up items that they're designer items or they're beautiful dresses, but they're so hard to photograph. So if they don't have a good stock photo, more and more I'm starting to realize, like, even though the dress is beautiful in person, but how it photographs on a hanger or on a wall, or how I would get this, because I don't have a mannequin, how I would get this to look good. If it's not a good stock photo, like, sometimes I have to say no to the item. And especially when I'm trying to get designer items, like, if there's not a good stock photo, I am more and more passing that up, depending on how I feel like it's going to photograph. So good pictures definitely matter. Having it on like a whiter wall and good lighting is a big deal. All right, number 5, check items over before you buy. Wow, I definitely probably have easily spent $50 to $100 and maybe even more money on buying items that had holes in them. I didn't check it over, or there's a stain on it that sometimes I could get out and sometimes I can't, and I still do these mistakes. Honestly, I just did it the other day. Like, the zipper didn't shut on this Free People romper I picked up after I bought it, and I couldn't return it. So I'm still making those mistakes. I try to make less of them, but it is a huge thing, like checking it over, making sure it zips, making sure there's no holes on it. Particularly cashmere. Every time I see cashmere, I'm so scared of cashmere to pick it up anymore, because it definitely seems like every time I pick up cashmere, even in the store, and sometimes the lighting's not that good and I don't see anything, and then when I go to photograph it, I see holes on it. So more and more I'm staying clear of cashmere, period, to be honest. But yeah, checking over your items before you buy them. Okay, number 6, Free People sells on lives. This is funny to me because it's still like I cannot believe how well Free People does on a live versus how it does in my closet. I feel like in my closet, it doesn't even get, some items sometimes get a lot of likes, but I feel like when I do a live show, everybody just wants to see Free People. But in my closet, it's hard to even get a like sometimes on items. But for lives, I feel like I had to give Free People away. sometimes. So that's been very interesting. So if you guys are doing lives, I would say, what do I learn? Free People sells really well on live. So I strategically am sourcing for two different ways now, for a live show and for probably a higher end designer brands, just to have in my closet. I'm in that transitional period, so I have obviously a lot of stuff that I picked up from the past yet that I have to get out, and that's not aligning into those plans. But my plan moving forward is to source, thinking when I go out, like, okay, this is going to be for a live show. This will move in a live show at least. Or this is going to be like your vintage, like my vintage stuff I pick up, or more substantial items that are very unique, or designer brands. Like that's just going to be listed in my closet. I may bring it to a live show sometimes, but I am thinking about sourcing different ways. Like, is this going to sell in a live show? How much would I make off of it if it did have to move in a live show? Those type of thoughts. But number 6, Free People sells in a live show. Okay, number 7. It costs way more to grow your business than you possibly can expect. I'm going to take a sip of coffee before I share about this one. So there's a couple things that go through my mind when I read that one out. Like I said, I'm in a transitional period right now. So I know how to make $2,000 a month reselling. Like I could easily do that and I would have no issues. I have not busted past into that next level yet. But what I do know is, in order to not only grow my closet to hit that next level, or get enough inventory that I can move on a live show, I have to spend money to invest, to build up my inventory, to move items through one of those two avenues. So for me, I'm gonna have to start paying up for items to get into the designer brands. That's kind of the reality of it. Obviously, if there was a great thrift shop that had all designer labels, like I think we would all be doing that, but that's just not the case, and you don't come across them that often at your regular thrift stores. So you have to go retail arbitrage or online sourcing on websites, and you have to pay up for those items. So that is costing more than expected, but it's okay. And the other way I look at this is if I want to move inventory on lives, like the volume side of things. Again, you do have to probably invest more money up front, like in small lots or pallets, because you could sell technically 50 items in a live show, right? So if you do that every single time, that's 200 items a month. And again, I think where a lot of people struggle in this is, well, where do I find 200 items a month? If I went out and sourced every single day, and I don't have access to the bins, so that makes it even more challenging, but I would have to spend a lot of time sourcing to get to those 200 items a month. I don't think some people have the time to sacrifice, which is why they go and buy lots. And with that can be a hit or miss. It's a risk take, because you could buy a lot for $1,000, but obviously some of those items in that lot, you may have maybe no good, or if you're trying out a new place or a new strategy and you spent like hundreds of dollars, like you may not recover all of that, or you may double your money. Like it is going to be a risk. So I think people underestimate like the mistakes or the costs or the risks that you have to take in this business, and sometimes that money is a wash, right? Until you have a good source. sometimes you have to absorb those costs back into your business. And so even for me, I've experimented a lot, I think, on different brands, and I still do so, not as frequent, just to see if that brand is going to sell or that style is going to sell. And so sometimes it doesn't work out and I have to absorb those costs into my business, or I'm only making $5 off of it when I thought maybe I would make 20. So it costs way more to grow than you would expect, because as you grow, you would take a little bit more risks, or you go outside your comfort zone on brands that you know that will sell, and that costs money. All right, so that was number 7. Number 8. I can't survive without my label printer. The first month or so, maybe 6 weeks, I didn't have a label printer. I got a label printer and my life was like, holy cow, what was I doing just printing out labels? Yeah, if you are going to sell more than 50 items a month, I highly recommend a label printer. Obviously, Rollo is the Rolls Royce of label printers. I got mine off of Amazon and I paid less than $100 for it. And it works fantastic. I know a lot of people want it to work from your phone. It does not work from my phone. But whatever label printer you choose to go with, I guarantee you, your life, you will get so much time back if you get a label printer. Plus, like, paper and ink is so expensive, so you will save so much money. Not only time, because time is money, but you will save money from having to replace your cartridges, which are so expensive, and buying paper is expensive, especially with inflation. So I would say if you don't have a label printer, go get yourself a label printer. You will get time and money back at the end of the day. I wouldn't survive without the label printer now. All right, number 9, extra small. These are just like random fun ones. Extra small Athleta takes long to sell. So I would say extra small Athleta, to me, I'm just not picking it up. It's just not happening. I think I actually had to take my extra small Athleta to buy sell trade stores. And this is just fun because this is what came to my mind. But yeah, I'm steering clear of extra small Athleta. Not happening for me anymore. On the same note, I would say extra small Lily Pulitzer, unless it's a very significant piece or maybe new tags, like probably gonna try to steer away from extra small Lily Pulitzer. I will eventually sell, but it will take way too long. So I guess you could say extra small in general, but not Free People, because Free People is so oversized. So that doesn't fit the script for Free People and some other brands. But this is just fun. Extra small Athleta and extra small Lily Pulitzer. Yeah, not ideal. All right, and the last one on my list is going to be start tracking your inventory with your cost of goods and where you got it from the beginning on a spreadsheet. So in the bottom of, when you go to enter your listing in on Poshmark, for, I don't know what it is, it's like the record keeping portion, and you can put your cost of goods, which I was doing, but then I wasn't adding where I got it from. I would start putting, and I learned this like way too late, so I'm going to start over in 2023, how much I paid for the item, and then where I got it from, so that if I need it for accounting purposes or for whatever reason, tax purposes in the future, because I have all my receipts, that I can at least say, okay, I paid $7 for this item and I got it from Goodwill. I wasn't doing that, and I highly recommend that you do that just from an accounting perspective. And I would say also finding a good method for inputting your inventory as you're listing it. Again, for accounting purposes, for tracking purposes, for data purposes, like try to figure out a routine to do that. So I'll share you mine. Mine is now every Monday I download my sales and my new inventory listed for the previous week. Now there's some situations where I listed something and it sold within a couple days, so it never actually hit my inventory spreadsheet. But now at least 1 week at a time I kind of audit that and can fix that, and that's how I plan on doing it moving forward, just week over week, downloading both of those reports and then putting that from Poshmark. I don't sell enough on eBay right now for it to be kind of a burden, so yeah, from a tracking standpoint. But I would say that tracking is kind of important for several reasons, just so you understand your own data, and then also from an accounting perspective and taxes. So that's how I do it. And I would love, like, if anybody's watching this, how are you guys tracking your inventory? Like, when you list an item, do you go on a separate spreadsheet and just enter all that information in? Because to me, that would take a lot of time to manually do that. And I kind of like now the way that I started to do it is download those two reports on a Monday. But I would be curious to see how everybody else does it, because maybe I haven't thought of something. And of course, I do watch Sarah Stiles on YouTube, but I think she does a lot on eBay and not so much on Poshmark. So I think her reporting is geared more towards the eBay side of things, which I'm not into, but I would be very curious if any of you guys have like a great reporting system, because I found flaws in the way several people like at a high level say they do it. And again, I'm looking for the most efficient way. So yeah, my most efficient way is to just download both reports on a Monday and audit that, and then update it and make sure inventory and sales look the same. So if I happen to list something and it sells the next day, which it never made it to my inventory spreadsheet, but I'll see it on my sales spreadsheet, and then I can put it on my inventory spreadsheet. Anyways, that is all, guys. That is my top 10, and I would like to end it with thank you so much for all of you that have already subscribed to my channel this year. It really means a lot to me. Sorry I have been inconsistent with making videos. My goal is to, try to do them weekly moving forward, and I look forward to sharing my wins and my learning lessons along the way in 2023, because like I said, I am at like, okay, I can make $2,000 a month. Like, my take-home profits $2,000 a month easily. I managed to do that. I know how to do it. It's super simple, and it won't take me a lot of time in a month to actually make that happen. However, I am trying to double that now into next year, and so haven't quite figured it out yet, but I hope to for sure in the next coming months and be able to share that back with you guys. So again, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me, and I hope you guys have a great holiday, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.